solve this inequality, notice that we have an expression between two inequalities. And what we're basically doing is we're actually solving two problems in one. So let me just show you that this is really just two separate inequalities like this. So negative 14 less than x minus 4 and x minus 4 is less than 0. So this inequality is really a compound inequality joined by the word and. So basically I looked at this side, negative 14 is less than x minus 4, and it's also this inequality, x minus 4 is less than 0. So basically it's two inequalities that you're solving. So you could split it up like this if you want to in the beginning, or you could just solve it as is, which I actually like solving it this way because here's how you would do it. We're trying to isolate, keep in mind, we're trying to isolate x in the middle here. So I'm going to add 4. And what I do here, I'm going to add 4 to this side and to this side because remember, it's two different inequalities you're solving at the same time, as I showed you before. So if this looks confusing to you, you can split it up like I showed you in the beginning of this video and solve it out each one separately. But you can see here in the middle, I'm going to let me bring down my inequalities first. This inequality sign, this inequality sign. When I simplify in the middle, this is a 0 pair when I combine those two. And I'm left with x by itself. That's the only term that's left. On the left side, when I combine these two, I get negative 10. And then when I combine 0 plus 4, I get 4. And that's my inequality right there. Once you have x isolated in the middle, you're ready to graph it. And your solution set, I like this setup because it looks like what you see here. So I put my tick marks underneath where the inequalities are. At this endpoint is going to be negative 10, and then this one is a 4. And I look at the less than sign. This is not including the 4, so numbers less than 4 are not included. So I'm going to put an open dot on here. And then if you read this from right to left, so if I ignore this, it's saying x is greater than negative 10. In other words, let me just do the work on the side so you can see how to interpret that one. If I were to switch, you see how the variable is on the right? It helps to put it on the left side. If you switch everything around, including the symbol, these are equivalent inequalities. So when I was saying read this from right to left, x is greater than negative 10, this is basically what it is. You can see x is greater than negative 10. And numbers bigger than negative 10, and don't forget this is an and problem, are going to be from here, so this is not included, on forward. And since it's an and problem, we're only looking at the overlapping regions, and you're going to see they only overlap in this middle section here. So that's kind of like why I like to leave this like this, because you can see that the values of x, right, these are your solutions, fall between these two numbers. So it looks like what you see here, right? You see how x is between these numbers? X is your solutions, and your solutions have to be between these numbers, and that's what you see in the graph. Our solutions fall between those two. So that's kind of like why I like the setup, because it pretty much looks like what your solution set will look like in the end.